Avid gives you a chance, or gives you the opportunity to actually burn in time code in your timeline. So if you go under your generator in your effects, you'll see time code burn in. You can actually click and drag that and put it right on top of your blank track. When I put that on there, you can see how the time code automatically goes in and throughout the sequence. You can adjust the time code by going into your effect editor. This is actually really cool. You can put different displays on your sequence as needed. So right now we have time code on here. If you look up here under display 1, I have time code. You can change it from current time code, end, duration, mark in, mark out, absolute, remaining. You can change it to whatever time code you want. I'm going to keep it at current time. But then you can also add other labels to it. If you check on display 2, I can go under the time code and actually switch it to something different. So for example, say I wanted the time code and I also wanted the clip name. I can find the clip name, the source clip name, and put that in as well. So now I have my time code, and as I scroll through this, you can see how the clip changes, the name changes. So it coincides with the actual clip down here in the timeline. Makes it a lot easier if you wanted to scroll for your producer or for a client so they can actually see which clip goes with where you are in the timeline and what clip goes with time code and how it's all pieced together. You should always have 3 marks on your screen and no more than 3. And say I want it to start here, I want it to end here, and I want the clip to go in, say, at the end. So always 1, 2, and 3 marks. You can also say if I wanted to replace this shot right here with this X-ray shot, if I put this here and do a mark here, so 1, 2, and start my mark here, 3, 1, 2, 3. So you always want to make sure that there are 3 edit points, 3-point editing at all times. Splice in, overwrite. When you overwrite something in, it's going to erase it and replace it. If you splice something in, it's going to shift everything down. You always want to make sure you maintain sync when you shift. Turning on your sync locks over here will help you do that. There's a few ways you can select segments if you want to move them around. The easiest way is to always use your segment tools over here. So you have segment mode, lift and overwrite, or segment mode, extract or splice in. These can be used a few different ways. I'm going to click on my tool here. Say I want to select that clip. I can actually move that clip anywhere I want. Again, if I move it, because it's an overwrite, it's going to replace. So make sure you're aware of that. You can also hold the Shift key down and select multiple clips if you want to, and then move those wherever you would like. You can also lasso clips if you wanted to. If you wanted to lasso multiple clips, you can do that, and it instantly puts you right into segment mode. So now I can move that wherever I need to go. Again, overwrite instantly erases. If I'm in my segment mode that allows for splicing, I can actually move this down, and you can see how it's just moving everything around. It's shifting everything around. You can actually hold the Command key down, and it will snap to whatever cut that you want. So the segment modes. You can also delete. If I click on this, say I don't want this clip, I highlight it, hit delete, it takes it away. So these segment tools can be used for shifting clips around and also deleting. Holding the Command key down allows you to snap it to a certain cut. Sequences. You can actually load sequences into your source monitor. Sometimes if you're working on a huge movie and it has multiple scenes, you may want to edit the scenes just in different sequences and then edit the sequences in order for the final edit. So the way that you can do that, it's very simple. If I go to these sequences, I can actually I don't want to double click on it. If I double click on it, it's instantly going to load it up into the record monitor. What I want to do is I want to click and drag it into your source monitor. And if you look down here in the timeline, you can see all of the sequence tracks down here and see how they line up. So if I want to edit this into this sequence, I have to make sure the proper tracks are highlighted and patched to the proper places, so that way we can make the proper edit. So you can actually edit parts of sequences into a sequence if you choose. You can also make, and this is pretty cool, you can also make subsequences. So we talked about making subclips, where you load a clip up into the source monitor, mark in and out, and then click and drag the clip into your bin to make a subclip. You can actually do that with sequences as well. So say I wanted to make, I don't know, I wanted a little section of this sequence, and I want this section right here to be a subsequence. I can actually mark in and mark out, but instead of dragging it from the monitor, you're going to take the icon up here and click and drag that over to your bin. Notice how it makes a subsequence. So if I load it over here, I have my short, cute little subsequence. Match frame and the find bin and find tool. Say I can't find where the sequence is. So if I go to this tool right here, this is called the find bin tool. So say I got a bunch of bins open, oh my lord, my desktop is a mess. I need to find this sequence. Where is it? You can easily find it by clicking on the find bin tool. By clicking on that, brings the bin forward, highlights the sequence in the bin. You can also do that with raw footage. If I want to find this clip real quick, I can click on the find bin. So if I want to find this clip right here, I can click on find bin, and it instantly finds that clip and that bin. There's other ways that you can find clips as well. Match frame is one of my favorites and one of the easier ways. So say this, I want to find this clip right here because I don't like where it's edited. I like the clip, but I just don't like the edit. So I want to reload that clip in. I can actually highlight my tracks that the clip is on, so 3A-1, and click the match frame button. That instantly matches where my blue indicator bar is in the sequence and sets a mark in over in my source monitor. The final way to find clips is to go up to the find bin. So if I go to edit and find, it's going to bring up this window. So say I'm looking for a specific clip and I don't know where it is, I can actually type the name in, hit find, and then instantly the clips load right into this little sub bin. And you can actually change. I can actually look for anything that I want, the name, the project, the master start time. You can actually find anything. So 3 ways to find your clips: find bin, the find tool, or match frame. Fast forward and rewind. You can actually use the fast forward and rewind to find different, to go to cuts quickly. Okay, the fast forward and rewind are right here. So I have mine set to go to the markers and then go to the heads and tails of frames. So right now it's just going to the markers. If you right click and you go to composer settings, it will bring up this little window, and this will allow you to change your fast forward so you can stop at the head of frames, you can stop at the tails of frames, or you could stop at markers. So right now it's stopping at markers. I'm going to uncheck that. I'm going to hit OK. So now when I fast forward and rewind, again, it's going to the beginning and to the end because I had my I had these highlighted, so it's seeing the whole entire sequence. Now I only have video track 1 on, so it's going to go from head to tail, and that's a great way to kind of go from jump from cut to cut. Timecode is the next thing I'm going to show you. Up here is your timecode for your source, timecode for your sequence. If you click on timecode and go to sequence, it gives you a bunch of different options. So timecode 1, this is your, right now it's set on master timecode. You can go to the duration. This is the actual length of your sequence. You can go to input output. That would be the input output of your from mark in to a mark out. Right now we have none, so it's given us pretty much the entire sequence. The absolute, which would be from the start of your sequence up to your blue indicator bar, and then the remaining would be from the blue indicator bar to the end of your sequence. So you can set that on anything that you would like. I always like to set mine on duration because I like to know exactly how long my clip is. And you can see in the middle, set on 1:09. So as I go down, you can see how the time goes down in the center duration. You can actually, and the final thing I'm going to show you is you can actually jump ahead. Say I wanted to go from here, but I wanted to jump ahead, I don't know, 1 second. You can use the numeric pad on your keyboard to do that. So say if I wanted to go ahead 1 second, I can type 1 second and hit enter, and then it should jump ahead 1 second. I can also go backwards by hitting the minus and say 24, and it should jump back. So another way to navigate through the timeline as needed. So a lot of cool things in this chapter that are great tools to help you edit. We will wrap this up and then see you in chapter 6. Leon out.